Howdy y'all, this is Brlcad 3D Geometry Verification Validation. Currently, the Department of Defense has software to create and analyze 3D models that must be verified and validated before going through vulnerability analysis. All verification validation really means is running tests to make sure there's no warnings and errors. So currently, we need an expert modeler to analyze outputs shown on the left, so there's a slow workflow that we want to improve on. Our solution is to create a GUI app that automates laborious checks, parses the results, shows it to the user, and it should have an intuitive design, speedy workflow, as well as be cross-platform. What we have open right now is Arbalest, which is a 3D modeling software that allows us to draw 3D geometry for any given model. What we implemented is the ability to verify and validate any of these models. So by clicking on the hammer in the top, we're able to bring up a list of tests that we can run on the model, each of which tell us a different thing about the model. So for example, does it have a valid title, nested regions, empty combos, etc. This is useful for verifying validating before actually manufacturing. We don't have to worry about that too much. We can go ahead and actually run the tests, and we can see that the progress bar increases as our result table also does. And essentially what we're able to do is right-click on any of these tests and hit on details for more information. So we can see what command we ran, the raw output, as well as the description and things like of this nature. Useful for pinpointing for the modeler. Another thing we're able to do is right-click and visualize. This brings up the object in question. In this case, it's cargo box R3I, and it displays it to the modeler. So it shows them where the issues are. Another thing we're able to do is batch select, right-click, visualize, and this essentially does the same except for multiple tests. And this can be useful if they want to visualize multiple problematic objects. So what actually happens if they're actually trying to fix the issue? Well, they can go ahead and right-click, copy path, and they can paste it into our embedded MGED terminal. So essentially this terminal allows us to edit the model. I'm not an expert modeler, so we can go ahead and fix a simpler issue, such as the title issue. Essentially, the issue is that the word untitled is inside the project title, so we can go ahead and fix that. Go ahead and do title shipping container. We have successfully changed the model, and if we go ahead and rerun the tests, this time we're only going to run the valid title test. We get a heads up saying that we changed our model, which makes sense since we just changed the title. And now we can see our valid title test now passes. Last thing we want to showcase is our ability to be resilient to crashes. So a lot of these models are large and they might take days even. So if it ever crashes, we don't want to just have days of wasted work. So what we're actually able to do is go ahead and run all these tests. And in the case where it crashes, we can go ahead and boot it back up. We want to open and continue running the tests that we're running while we closed. So as we do that, we can see that our progress populates and we indeed run our test again.